Hey team, welcome to the patch review video where instead of going over every single change like I do usually today, I'm only going to go over a few that I found important, so the rest of them, if I don't give an opinion, just assume I think they're good. But I want to hijack the start of this video to give an explanation to those of you who want one. For those of you who actually care. First of all, you specific team member, thank you for just tuning in to listen to my video, because like if you didn't listen to this right now, I would just have nobody to tell my bullshit to, basically. So thanks for being there. Thanks for sitting and checking out this video where I actually can share my opinion with someone and it actually matters, which is good. So why did I not upload videos? Was I lazy or not? So that's the one thing I'll touch on before I go over the patch review. So YouTube has always been a hobby for me. It was never a job, and I never wanted it to be a job. I always wanted to be a game developer, kind of like I am now, and I thought that, well, if I could be a game developer for a game I love, like HoN, that would be even better. So, yeah, I guess that made me a lot happier that I'm in this position where I am working on HoN, and I can't leak pretty much anything, but I'm just gonna say that HoN is gonna be good. HoN is gonna, if anything, I myself will make sure that HoN is gonna be good. If you ever check my Facebook page, you would have noticed that I made a post about something where before there's this problem with every game developer where if you like try to suggest something, they usually don't listen, right? And you mention an idea, and I'm pretty sure with HoN, a lot of people had the mindset of, well, if you say it and mention an idea, even if it's good, nothing's probably gonna be happening. Nobody's gonna it's not gonna get anywhere. Like, you've voiced the idea, it's gonna be the best idea ever. Nobody's gonna care. You're gonna assume nobody has to read it, or like maybe one or two people read it, but nothing was done. But I have worked for about 6 months now at S2, and I am finally in this position where I actually can do stuff. Like, I actually have a bit of an influence where if you notice, if you go into the suggestion forums, suggestion section on the HoN forums, you will notice that I reply to threads very often, and I just straight up, like, before you would have to create a suggestion thread and like get like at least 20 votes, a ton of like views, and then get a tier 1, and then hope that like someone reads it that matters. But now there's like a thread with 5 views and 2 votes. Nobody replied to it. Nobody knows. I just go into it and I go, wow, that's a good idea. I'm going to implement that right now. And that's going to be, you can like expect more stuff like that in the future where I will actually listen to your feedback. Like, this is the time, if you have an idea, just go post, because this is the time where your feedback matters. And that's why I think that HoN is going to freaking wreck everything else. Like, because there's no developer that has this. Anywho, that's about my job, which is actual job that I am paid for, which pays for everything, where basically I have the money. In other words, YouTube is completely a hobby now. Whereas before I had the schedule, I made the schedule where I kind of tried to release 1 video a day, and I kind of sometimes was forced to release a video where I would record like, let's say 3-4 games a day, and I would release at least one of them. I would have a condition where I want to release at least one of them to like stay with the schedule. But now that it's completely a hobby, I'm no longer forced to do anything. Basically, I can do what I want. And this is what I want, and that's not a bad thing. Like, a lot of you probably assumed that I was just lazy and wasn't making videos, but here's the thing. Because it is a hobby, and because, like, I do it for fun, kind of now, mostly, I am not forced to upload, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be super horrible. What that means is basically if there's a video that I don't like personally, where I think it's like average, like meh, or like slightly above average, or it's just like some boring game that's like a 15-minute stump, or like a 45-minute long game, or like my commentary is kind of dry, I am just not going to upload it. Like, that's the thing. I am not going to upload. I have recorded more than 20 games in the time that there was no video released. More than 20 games, and 0 went up. Sometimes there were technical issues, like I was a complete retard, forgot to turn on my microphone, or forgot to turn on one of the recording programs, but most of the time something went wrong. Like, the game was bad, my commentary was like meh, or it was just an average game. And like, I don't want to put up boring crap on my channel. I just don't. And there is no need, there is nothing that can force me to. Like, take it, for example, the last Calamity video. It starts with a short montage of me getting an immortal, then proceeds to go into the very first game I have ever played with Calamity. Like, that was the first game I played with Calamity. I just jumped into the game, didn't really think of any build orders or anything. I was just like, let's play this. Had a lot of fun. The game ended up being 4 against 5, and there were like server issues, but I cut out and edited all the parts that were boring, so you guys were only left with the fun part of these server problems. And then at the end, after the video was over, in the blooper, I just had a really good team fight and went for a really good build and just had a really good time. And that's the type of content that I want to produce for you guys. That's the kind of good video, like actually objectively good video that I want to like keep putting up. Like, I don't want to put up boring average crap. And because YouTube is a hobby, I can afford to just only put up the videos that I want. Like, I was always quality over quantity, so that's kind of my explanation for those of you who care. I did record a lot of videos, but I just don't want to put up boring stuff anymore. So, sorry for boring you. I will now quickly go over the few changes that kind of made me raise an eyebrow, which... Wait, 1 second. There, raise an eyebrow like that. So first of all, the Accursed change where it decreased action times, cast action times. So what does this mean? It means that when you cast a skill, when you like use your first or second ability, the time when it works after the time you actually click it is much faster now. So it feels much better and it casts much faster. And I like the direction of this buff because Accursed carry is a really, really scary thing. Like, when Accursed gets farmed, like a Dawnbringer, Elder Parasites, Steam Boots, and like a Brutalizer, he is a force that can stop the hardest of carries, and it's very difficult to deal with, especially because of the ultimate. And this buff's kind of his support aspect more, because it allows you to like use the skills on an ally faster or such. Which is why I'm okay with the direction of this buff. Like, it buffed the support Accursed, not the carry Accursed. However, judging by the win percent, Accursed is apparently the new cancer in HoN, because he is the most overpowered hero currently in HoN. So basically, these buffs pushed him over the edge, where now he's the #1 hero in terms of the win percentage. He wins the most games currently. And that's kind of a shame that he's a bit overpowered. He will receive a nerf, I imagine, very soon. Or not very soon, but soon enough. But I just want to say that I like that his carry wasn't buffed. So it's not like super annoying to deal with him right now, where he's kind of the same as before in terms of annoyance, but just he wins games better now. So just wanted to put it out there. The Accursed buff could have been worse. But like I think everyone agreed that Accursed kind of needed something. Like, I think even after these nerfs are reversed, me and Waza already talked about like some other potential changes to like kind of nerf him, but at the same time maybe push him further as a support. Like, we'll see. Like, we don't know yet, but yeah, my opinion actually matters in this stuff now. So like, if you want to complain about how heroes overpowered, just let me know. But oh yeah, speaking of the YouTube comments, if you're going to complain, just like for anyone who is going to post something like super special, right? If you're posting a very special comment that is very special, just like don't be surprised when you suddenly take a permanent vacation from my channel. Because if I read your comment and like it's the dumbest thing I've ever read, I'm just not gonna let you post anymore. So like, guys, for the vast majority of you who post good comments, thank you so much for making reading comments an actually good and enjoyable thing. And for the rest few of you who post like absolutely mind-boggling comments, I'm just not going to talk about it anymore. So just a quick note about Andromeda. The comment mana cost reduction just made Andromeda a lot of fun to play, and she's in a spot. Can you say well spot? Whatever, in a good spot regarding balance. So she's not overpowered or anything, just like a good change that I like, because now you can spam that comment, and it's one of the most powerful single target skills in the game. So just made Andromeda a lot of fun to play, and you're like, SomaZ, you're wasting so much time on this. Here we go. Arachna not important, Arachna not important, Blacksmith not important, Blitz, third skill, cast time removed. So basically I can use her third skill without making any movements, it's just instant. And some other buffs. Not important. Not important, not important, not important, not important, not very important. Oh yeah, Xylophant, everyone complained, now he has been nerfed. Is he still strong? I haven't played him, I didn't get the chance, but nonetheless, it's there. Not important. Deadwood, from what I understand, your second skill now, it is better to always throw it right before using the last charge, because basically you're wasting an extra attack otherwise. And that's kind of all I wanted to say. His ultimate has been slightly buffed by 25 damage and like slight more strength reduction, because everyone complained that the new Deadwood sucks, but like I was among the people who said that Deadwood sucks after I saw the patch notes with the nerf, but I have played him and I have made my opinion clear since then that after I actually played him, he was still a pretty strong hero in my opinion, so like this is whatever. Not important, not important, not important. Gladiator Pitfall a bit easier to land. Hopefully this hero will be less of a nightmare to play. Not important. Like the cooldown on the ultimate was really ridiculous for Gravekeeper, so the reduction is very, very welcome. But I think Gravekeeper needs some more changes. Not important. Mage Bean, just a note about this thing, where basically it makes Nullifier Blade a possible item on a possible item build on Mage Bean, and I think it's a good build. Just want to say, Nullifier Mage Bean, I will probably go for this myself. Just an interesting build. So, not important, not important. Martyr rework, I really like it. Before Martyr had this very, very, very huge problem where you either stay high on health, but then your skills suck, because your third skill depends on you being low health to give like allies a good speed, and your first skill depends on low health, so that you can deal more damage, but your ultimate needs you to be on full health, which is completely contradictory to everything else. So now this hero actually makes sense. Like the way he works actually makes sense together. It's no longer like contradicting itself. So I'm all for this rework. Basically good stuff. If you don't know what it does, just go play him. It's fun. The Martyr is a lot of fun right now, so I haven't played him myself yet, but I have seen him being played, and like his second skill, the buff is freaking amazing. It like feels very good. So if you have a Martyr on your team, just a good build idea I have for you is go for a Shaman's Headdress, because the second skill turns all of the damage that you took into magic damage. It's superior magic damage so that it doesn't get blocked by Shrunken Head, which would be cheating, but it's magic damage. So by default it already gets reduced, so you are guaranteed to take less damage than you did after the second skill is over, because you have some magic armor by default. But if you get a Shrunken Head, you can take full advantage of this skill. So maybe if you're a Martyr yourself, you can get a Shrunken Head and just like abuse it on yourself. But yeah, if you have a Martyr on your team, consider getting a not Shrunken Head, Shaman's Headdress, and yeah, it'll be good. So Midas received some huge buffs, and you think, oh my god, is he going to be overpowered now? And actually, judging by the win percent, he's not. He's in a good spot now, basically. He's not too overpowered, not broken, and these are overall good changes. Just one thing about the ultimate change, where it now applies a debuff to enemies that deals bonus damage. That is, as far as I have tested, only when they're stunned. So for those 3 seconds that they're stunned in place, like golden, then it deals the bonus damage. But the like just state that is applied from like your first, just hitting one skill, that alone doesn't give the bonus damage. So overall, just reducing the ridiculously long cooldown on the Golden Salvo, which is good, and kind of compensating for the cooldown reduction by making it less effective on higher levels, but just overall a really good rework, increasing his armor, increasing his damage, and just like Midas is a lot more fun to play now, and like I'm pretty sure he'll become one of my favorite heroes now with these changes. Moira, these changes like are good. They basically make her less super bad to play with, because all of her skill, like each one of her skills before kind of had like this kind of gimmick or like bad sluggish feel about it. So all of that has been removed, but in my opinion she still needs some help. The way I would change her, just my personal opinion, is I would make her third skill last a lot longer, something closer to your cooldown, so that you could actually like almost permanently spend time being your like illusion or whatever. That would be interesting, since that's kind of what the hero is about. But otherwise, like these changes are a step in the right direction. So Monarch rework. First of all, balance-wise, she's in a good spot. The new third skill, which is basically, a lot of people probably think, oh my god, this is so broken overpowered, because it's essentially free words, but it's not that strong. And when you think about it, words are only 100 gold. It's not like you're getting a super huge advantage by making words free. It's like 100 gold. Okay, big whoop. So, she's in a good spot regarding balance, and the changes have made her much more enjoyable to play, where like her second skill makes a little bit more sense now. Her first skill deals a lot more damage, so just overall a very solid hero with like, and above all, she's unique now. She has a unique thing where you get this hero and you're pretty much guaranteed some wards on the map. So just basically Monarch is a lot more interesting to play, which I like. I really like this remake. Just like clap to everyone involved in this change. Very good. So not important, not important, not important, not important. Yeah, we're back to the not important, not important, not important, not important, not important, not important. Like when I say not important, it basically means I agree with this change. It's good in the right direction. That's all. Like nothing else really to say there. Now, Slither should be a bit better now to play, but mostly not important. Next, Swilley. Here, Swilley. This is the change where I actually kind of the first change where I don't really agree with it. So. Swilley was a very strong hero with a very good win percent. Now he's lower than 50%, but just a bit. He's basically balanced now. What I don't like about this remake is this line over here, counterattack. His second skill has been nerfed. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, his second skill is shit. It's shit. It's shit from a design point of view, and it's just shit the way it works. It only counters ranged attacks to begin with. Like, that's one thing already. Like, it only counters ranged here. Like, it's useless against melee heroes. This skill should be completely reworked, but instead it's just nerfed into more useless. It's like, I will probably never get this skill now until my stats are completely, like, maxed. I will get max my first skill and maybe get a bit of stats, then max my third skill, because a critical strike is really good. Deals more damage to heroes, helps you farm. Second skill I won't touch until my stats are maxed. Unless maybe they have like 5 ranged heroes, but even then it's like... So yeah, this is the one change which I'm like, really? Did the second skill need a nerf? Like, okay, first skill, okay, I understand. It's one of the most damage dealing skills in the game. Third skill, kind of skeptical. Did the critical strike really need a nerf? Second skill, really? Like, was it really an issue? Like, this change is just dumb. So that's the one thing I don't like. Succubus, her first skill is no longer useless on lower levels. That's a good change. Not important. Tremble, he has been nerfed, but I'm not sure I agree with this nerf. It's like some really good players have really shown the strength of Tremble, where he absolutely demolished games. And I'm not sure if these nerfs are necessary. Like, even though they demolished games, still, like, there are games where each hero, like, shines. And Tremble is not that strong in my opinion, but this line here, added to tournament rules, means that he can now be picked up in competitive games. And to avoid problems, I would have to agree that it's better to release heroes in competitive mode, at least, a bit on the weaker side, so that they don't cause like a huge problem. So like, I'm okay with a slight nerf just because of this line here. Since he's going to be competitive now, just like, let's see how it does. And if it's like not too strong, then we can buff him back up a bit. So like, this is a necessary evil, unfortunately. Valkyrie is no longer as bad, which is good, not important. Yeah, this change. This is the one change I disagree with the most in this patch. Voodoo Jester, the first skill, Q. Acid Cocktail now damages enemy heroes for 50 damage per bounce. This is probably the #1 most annoying fucking skill in this game. Why was it just made more annoying? I don't understand. I hate this skill so much, because I swear I have some kind of magnet on my hero connected at my account that just attracts the bounces. When there's 5 creeps nearby and me, you can guarantee that it will bounce on me, because 5 creeps apparently doesn't matter. I just hate this skill. Why was it like made more annoying? I hate this change. Like, this is horrible. I need to make a note. 1 second, let me open up my note, my to-do list. Let's add complain about the Voodoo Q change. Okay, noted. We'll complain about it later. War Beast has become less annoying. You had to get a lot of mana potions to use your first skill often in the jungle, and you don't have to do that anymore. Though War Beast is a very strong hero. Like, right now he has a good win percent. Not too overpowered or anything, but like kind of a bit on the stronger side. Not sure he needed this change, but this definitely makes the hero a lot feel a lot better to play. So not important. Assassin Shroud. I like this change where basically it lasts longer but has a longer cooldown. What this means is that if you try and counter him with like someone who uses Shroud, I mean, with like Dust or something else, you basically have a lot more time to like counter, where he won't be able to go invis again as fast. So I'm kind of a fan of this change, so that's good. Dust of Revelation cost increased. Unfortunately, I have to admit, at first I was skeptical about this change. I was like, is this really needed? Like, really? But I have to admit this change was necessary because I basically almost never ever get words of revelation anymore against invisible heroes. Like I still get them to counter word, but I kind of stopped getting them against invis heroes, which means that dust is getting a little bit too strong. So this cost increase was necessary. Apologies, I needed a bit of water before the next change, which is mine. The first change, which I'd not only came up with, but scripted myself to the Lex Talionis. This is completely mine, except for like this line, range increase, which was like Waz's idea initially. But like everything scripted, like this is my change. So this is the first time ever that legitimately my change made it into the game, Lex Talionis. So basically the mana cost has been removed because my reasoning for, like, I'm gonna explain this change. Are you kidding me? This is my change. I need to explain this, okay? I'm sorry. It's gonna be detailed. Mana cost removed because you're putting the enemy at the same disadvantage that you're putting yourself. Like, you're giving them the debuff, but you're giving yourself the debuff as well. It doesn't need to cost mana. Also, this means that now you can get this item on a courier, and if you micro really well, you can use it from the courier. So that's kind of an extra skill ceiling there, but it requires a lot of micro and a very good gold investment. So, like, if you manage to pull it off, clap to you. This change is very interesting, where it now dispels debuff from self if target dies early. What that means is that before, if you use like the debuff on the enemy and you like gank him and you take him down and he dies, you still have the debuff on yourself for the full duration. However, now if you kill the enemy hero and like you kill him early before the debuff expires, the debuff is removed from yourself. So like if you get to kill him fast, you get to keep all of your armor. If they dispel it with like a nullifier or you die, then it stays. Like, or rather, if they dispel it with a nullifier from themselves, it stays on you, and if you die, it still stays on them, kinda. And this change is very important here. Recipe cost reduced from 275 to 250. You're thinking like 25 gold decrease in recipe cost. Really, SomaZ, really, this is your change. This change is actually very important, much more important than you think, because I did the math. And basically, now, with this new cost, and keep in mind that you can upgrade the Lex Talionis 3 times, which means in total you save 75 gold for an item that is already kinda cheap. But what this means, I did the math, is that now it is cost efficient in terms of the gold you spend. It is cost efficient just to have this item in your inventory without even ever using it. So if you just buy Lex Talionis, upgrade it to level 3, and just have it sit there in your inventory and never use it, it is worth your gold. And if you manage to use it well, that's even more worth your gold. So Lex Talionis is a really good component in building against very physical damage intensive teams, where now I think, I'm not sure if everyone is becoming like this, but I'm personally becoming a lot smarter with build orders lately. And when I see a lot of physical damage on the enemy team, I start to think which items give armor, and I start stacking them together. And there are a lot of, even as a support, cheap items that give armor, and Lex Talionis is one of them. That's 5 armor. You get a Lex Talionis, that's 5 armor, maybe armor boots, that's another 5 armor, and Ring of the Teacher, that's another 3 armor, and all of a sudden you are like close to 20 armor as a support who like spent like 2,500 gold or something. So yeah, Lex Talionis is now a good item to have just in your inventory, and the new debuff, the range increase is also really good, where you can now stay from very safe range and use it. So it overall feels like a really good item now. Love this change. Not important. Ion Stone. This is a bit important to explain, excuse me. So cost decrease from 250 to 200. The health and mana that this item gives is the equivalent of about 3 minor totems. It's a bit better, but it doesn't give like damage and other stuff, but it is in 1 slot instead of 3. So basically, the cost efficiency for the gold and mana bonus that it gives is 150 gold, which means you're only paying 50 gold, like of the 200 cost left. 200 minus 150 is, you're only paying 50 gold for the ability to capture runes, which I think is very worth it. So it's a lot better option now. I pick it up almost every game on supports because it's just very cost efficient now. It is definitely worth it, the 50 gold you spend to like have the ability to capture runes. I wouldn't say bottle because it's not really bottling, but capturing. So yeah, Shieldbreaker has been slightly buffed. I have to agree that this change was necessary because Shieldbreaker, even though it's kind of strong, it was kind of falling off, and especially with all these new options for armor, or at least like players becoming smarter with stacking armor, at least myself, Shieldbreaker did need a buff because decreasing enemy armor by 7 is good and all, but we had a game recently where I was a support and I was stacking armor, and I kid you not, I easily stacked like 30 something armor, and that is without like Frost Field or Demonic or anything. I just like stacked a bunch of armor items that are pretty cheap. I had like 30 something armor. It was ridiculous. So this item definitely needed a buff. The one thing I want to mention is that the scaling on it is a bit strange, where it's really good on level 1, where you get a really good damage bonus, like you get plus 12 damage and minus 3 armor on level 1, and then afterwards you get like, wait, is it plus 12 damage? Wait, no, wait, what? No, it's not plus 12 damage. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. It's plus 16. So when you complete the recipe, you instantly get 16 damage and minus 3 armor debuff. And afterwards, it's only 14 damage and minus 2 armor instead of 3. So it's basically really cost efficient on level 1 and kind of better on levels 2 and 3. But I think that's an interesting mechanic to have, where like just as soon as you complete Shieldbreaker, at that moment it's like you can go and like try kill someone, because like you have a small advantage at that, like a small window of opportunity. So yeah, just basically want to note, and I'm okay with it. Storm Spirit cost decrease. I just wanted to say that this is a very like interesting item when you're playing a support, because you can essentially save your carry or even save yourself if you like use it well. So it has this skill element to it. So I really like making this item more accessible. Just wanted to point it out. Stratos Recipe cost reduced again. Supports will really like this. Now, Veiled Rod. This item, I want to say that since it's released, I have always just trashed it completely because I thought it's absolutely shit. Like, I thought this item was horrible. And I tried to use it constantly. I tried and tried and tried, and it sucked balls, and I have finally succeeded in actually learning to use it. Like, I thought that it's horrible, but recently, about like, I would say even less than a week ago, I have finally started to learn to actually use it well. Where what you do, or at least what I do, is when I want to gank and I know that the enemy team like has a ward top or bottom, I will use the courier to bring me 1-2 Veiled Wraths. I will use it and then I'll gank with it. That's how you do it. Instead of like constantly keeping it in my inventory. When I see an opportunity, I'm like, I can gank top right now with a Veiled Wrath. I just go grab the courier and do that. So is this item actually worth the gold and the mana cost? I think it's a good item right now. Like personally, after I've learned to use it, I think it's a really powerful item. I played a Drunken Master game today where I actively used this item to constantly gank, and I pretty much dominated all 3 lanes by myself with this item because I kept using it and ganking, and they couldn't see me with their wards, which was really strong, and it's a really fun item in my opinion, so I really like it now. It's going to be one of my favorite items. So if I record more games now, which I hopefully will, although I do have some work on HoN that is going to be pretty exciting for you guys when it comes out, but I will try to use this item in a video and like show you how it's done. So this is another change that I don't agree with. Avoid Talisman here. So now it requires a major totem and an 800 gold recipe, which means the total cost has been decreased by 160, and I don't like this change for one reason. It is too much. It is too easy to get this item, and it's too powerful. I know that this item has not been picked up often on people in general, but this change does 2 things. First of all, it makes the build up easier because now it's not just one big chunk of gold you need to spend, but you can spend it in 2 chunks. You get the minor totem and then you get the recipe. So that's already easy because like when you're dying and you have like 600 gold, before if you wanted to get a Void Talisman you would go, well, I just gotta lose gold. Nothing I can do. Now you can get a major totem and basically not lose any gold, and then you only need like the recipe. So that's one thing, it's easier to get. The second thing is that the overall cost and the cost of the recipe has been reduced so that it's now like twice as easy to get. It's too easy, and I believe this item is just too powerful because the whole point of HoN is that there's supports who are supposed to like be good early mid game and like bad late game, and there's carries who, if farmed successfully, are supposed to dominate late game. And this item is basically like, oh, you're a carry? Fuck you. Oh, what? What, you're a carry? Like, does this look like it cares that you're a carry? You're like a Dark Lady with 600 GPM at 50 minutes, and you like turn on all of your skills and you go on the support, and he's just like, boop, nope, nope. 4 seconds, you can't touch me. And then like your silencing blades, like the first skill is already over by the time like his Void Talisman is, or like let's say Predator. His second skill gives you magic immunity for 5.5 seconds. So like you leap into the fight and you try to take out the support. You use your second skill for the magic immunity so that nobody can disable you. You take out the support, you escape. Good. Now you jump on the support, he uses Void Talisman. Your entire duration of your magic immunity pretty much wasted. You can't do anything. You can't attack him. And once you can attack him, he can actually stun you because your magic immunity wore off. This is a very, very powerful item. I was a bit okay with not many people getting it because it's ridiculous how powerful it is. Have you ever tried to play a carry and like the entire enemy team gets Void Talismans and their supports? You can't do anything. Like, you can't kill anyone. And as soon as it's over, they probably will stun you or something, or like even before it's over. So I'm against the change. That is a change I don't like. Where's my list? Complain about Void Talisman change. Okay, good. Wrote it down. Words of Sight now refund half of the gold if it expires. I like this change. It adds the mechanic of like it incentivizes counterwarding. For when you counterward, you guarantee that they don't get the 50 gold back, which actually makes the Word of Revelation worth it, because Word of Revelation costs 100 gold. You get 50 gold from killing the enemy ward, and another 50 gold you get by robbing the enemy player of the 50 gold. So it basically pays for itself if you counter wards perfectly. And of course it pays even more because you actually deny the enemy team vision, which is the main purpose. So yeah, all good changes. And one last thing I want to mention is that I played the patch like a lot since it came out, and I have to admit, playing support is so much better now. It feels a lot like better. Like it's like a kind of a bliss feeling now, where before you would like get crushed and you like would get maybe boots and like mystic vestments and that's it, and you wouldn't have any options. But now it like feels so good because you actually have options. So first of all, gold from ward is returned to you if they expire naturally, which is good. If you don't know what expires naturally means, is that it means that the wards stayed for the entire 6 minutes and then they just normally disappeared and they weren't killed. Then you get the gold back. But like now I like at the start of the game I think, well, maybe I needed like still one is this game, I can like start building towards that. Iron Stone I can just get at the start of the game. Striders are now so much easier to get. Like all these items, like supports have so much more options, and like you are no longer like have a completely full inventory as well because you needed to carry wards. Now they have their own slot, which is really good. It's just like playing supports feels so much better now, especially because a lot of the supports that were kind of like underwhelming got buffed. So yeah, very good stuff. Overall, very good changes. I give this patch a solid 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. There we go. Okay. Those are my thoughts. I'm sorry that this video kind of went on for long. It's 30 minutes, but for a patch this big, I think 30 minutes is not too bad. So if you're still watching this, thank you very much for listening to my BS for so long, for the entire time. You're a really good team member. When I say hi team, I will be like very grateful to you specifically, and I will consider you a team member. Like, you will be a core part of my team when I mention it. Like, think of yourself as a core part. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is. If I'm not making videos, that means I'm working on HoN. See ya.